Hi, welcome to my video. I'm Jennifer Roberts. You're catching me on my YouTube channel, True Divine 44. You can also get me on my Facebook page, True Divine, and it is The True Divine for both Instagram and Twitter. Thank you for everybody who likes, shares, follows, subscribes and comments. Most of all, I love the comments. Much love to everybody who's doing that thus far, because it's helping me build something, helping me create something, and helping get the word out about what I do. So it is helping with my income, so that I really do appreciate that support and that way of supporting what I'm trying to grow. So this is part of the free content that I put out on a daily basis to help support, guide and inspire those who want to be supported, guided and inspired. Because it's general, always take what resonates and leave the rest behind. It can't serve everybody, but to be honest, we're going through such similar energies and such similar callings back to our soul's path right now that it is serving many and resonating, at least in part, with most that listen, I think. And that's the energy that I'm picking up on anyway. So this reading is for the 16th of August 2020. Again, repetitive messages, but they sort of keep adding another layer on. The last week and a half maybe, I lose track. Very repetitive messages, but as I say, keep adding more and more layers onto the previous message to serve either the same people that are moving forward within this journey, especially within this week, or to add on to include others that will resonate with that day and that energy more. So for the 16th of August 2020, we've got the Knight of Pentacles again. So you see he's challenging himself to keep his horse paced but controlled. The horse is wanting to bolt. My daughter having horses understand this feeling. She never really has to do this. They listen to her without her even raising a voice, or she just clicks and makes certain hand signals, body signals, and she speaks equine. Whereas me, I have to, you know, keep my breathing calm, try and keep my heart rate calm, because they'll pick up on my nervousness if I feel like I'm going to lose control. So with that, the horse doesn't feel as safe with me. It does when it's in the field and free and I'm just talking to them and conversing with them energetically in the main. But when I have to take on the role of being the one that's in control, the parent, so to speak, with horses, it's my daughter who is the best parent. They feel safer with her because of the energy that she just naturally exudes towards horses and anything equine. So they respond to her energy. But in this card, it's kept coming up, and different layers from the same card, different layers of messages have kept coming up. And one thing I do know with horses, it's clarified by the Sun card here, Leo. You can see the Leo lion right in the middle there. And so this is enlightenment, but also a huge energy where we've been experiencing a huge awakening of the divine feminine energy within, and really feeling that within nature itself, and just the vibration of the divine feminine energy increasing on a daily basis, a minute by minute basis. We have also now come into a time where now it's time to take action. It's not a time to stay stagnant or stay still. It's time to take action. And that's action on going within, and therefore then it replicating and rippling out to the outside of self, but first from within, as always. So we're coming into this time of the divine masculine really awakening, and that spark, that fire. But it's a small window where this divine masculine is being asked, this divine masculine energy in both males and females, as we all have a balance of the two, no matter what gender you are. There's a balance of divine feminine and divine masculine within you that you can balance out, that you can use, that you can exalt, but mainly as well in the men, where the women have been getting called upon, and that divine feminine energy, that goddess-like energy, getting drawn out of them, and them taking action within their lives to show that, to take their place as a goddess. The men in our communities right now or will be feeling this draw on themselves to this magnet, this pull on their divine masculine, knowing that something's coming, knowing that there's going to be something to protect, knowing that there's something they've got to take action on. So if you're listening to this and you are male and you've been feeling that, you'll understand what I'm saying, in that you've been sort of soldiering up over this last week. This spark, this fire, this enlightenment, this Leo lion, this strength and fortitude, ready to pounce, ready to go on the hunt, ready to catch what it needs to be caught, ready to take what needs to be taken, ready to move forward where you need to move forward. And there's this pull on that, very much so. So much so, just like this guy is sort of struggling to keep a hold of this horse, is not struggling, but he's having to keep a pull on it, and he's being drawn in a certain direction. So for this day though, there is a message for some that, you know, with horses, and I only know what I've picked up on being around my daughter, who's amazing with them, is that when she is on a ride or whatever she's doing to exercise them, there's been a few occasions where, more than a few, where she's listened to the horse. To a certain extent, she'll make sure that she's in control of the journey. She'll make sure that she knows the trail that she's going to go on. Excuse me, itchy nose. She knows the trail that she's going to go on. She usually has it planned out before she goes ahead. She's got everything that she needs, bandages, you know, a bit of antiseptic spray in a bum bag. So she's prepared. Just like this guy in this Knight of Pentacles is prepared. He's got his arrows. He's got his bow. So he's going out on the hunt. He knows he's taking action. He knows he's going somewhere that he needs to take action. He knows with this Leo lion, this sun card, clarifying that he knows he needs to catch this. He knows he needs to take this opportunity, to take hold of this window and act upon it. And so, but with horses, there's a lot of time where my daughter has come back and said, Mama had to just stop, because it's amazing that, you know, they are so in tune with the earth that they live on, that many times she's got one huge big maxi cob horse, and she's beautiful, but of course she's a heavy girl. She's got big hooves, and there's been a few times where Abigail hasn't noticed, but the ground has either been like sinkhole type, not sinkhole, but you know what I mean, like it would have been dangerous for the horse to go in. And the horse, Queenie, has absolutely recognised that just by the vibration that she's getting off her hooves meeting the ground, well before Abigail has got any kind of clue as to whether it is dangerous or not. The horse has picked up on it. A little while ago, she was out on a trail not too long ago, and the horse got really nervous, but you know, Abigail sings sound to her that calms them. And they went forward, and the horse was absolutely happy to go forward for Abigail's sake, but wanted to warn Abby that there was something she didn't want to hang about in that area. She wanted to get out of that area. She was willing to go forward in the direction Abigail wanted her to go in, but they needed to go a bit faster. She wasn't comfortable there. Of course, later that evening, a young man's body had been found. I haven't heard much more since. There was a small announcement on the radio. I haven't heard much more after that about the investigation of it, but you know, a really young man, a little bit older than my daughter, he was lying there dead at the moment Abigail had gone past, from what the police report had said, as to when they found the body. And so Abigail had no clue there was a dead body lying there. Of course, horses smell death. They've got an acute sense of smell. They've got an acute sense of the energies around them. And so, you know, Queenie kept her safe and stayed focused and went where Abigail wanted her to go. But Abigail had to listen to her to say that, you know, we need to get out of here a bit faster. I want to pick up the pace. I want to get past this. So there's an intuition here also, in that where the man might be able to have maybe been indoctrinated as to what he needs to go out and catch, what kind of action he needs to take. There might be a lesson here to rely on nature, to rely on that which hasn't lost quite so much of its instincts as a lot of us have. To be enlightened by this, via the sun, via this Leo lion sun. Maybe the horse can pick up on something that this guy isn't picking up on. Maybe, you know, there's a focus there that, you know, maybe it's time to listen to the beast and be driven in the direction that the beast knows is safe. Because there's dangers ahead, and there will be enlightenment of those dangers. But the dangers are sneaky. They will need the light of the sun to show that these paths that you're being asked to go down, or being driven down, or being poked and prodded to go down, they may look like the best path. They may be getting sold as the best path. But actually, you know, the beast knows, the horse knows that don't go down there, we'll get snagged, we'll get trapped, we'll get hurt. And so for today, it's to listen to that inner beast, listen to those instincts, the divine masculine in tune instincts with the dangers and the rates of success, and taking in all of that around them to know which action to take, and allow the sun to enlighten the path, to use the elements, the environment around you, as this horse does, to take in the smells, the sounds, the signs of danger. And like I said before, you know, those signs can be pretty much hidden to the human eye, especially when we've been brainwashed in a certain way. Yet the horses pick up on those dangers. They pick up on the depth of the soil beneath them, how solid it is, how much they can, how much of their weight it can take. You know, much more perceptive than ourselves, especially since we've fallen quite far from our natural perception and natural knowings of danger, because they've been sneaky. They've been made shiny and new. They've been made into adverts on the TV to make you think you want something or think you need something when actually you don't. So take that in mind, in that, you know, if your inner beast is, and in particular, to be more direct, it might be that one of you are walking a dog today, quite a big dog, and that dog does not want to go in a certain direction. Listen to your dog. Listen to your animal. Don't go in that direction. Turn around and go in the opposite direction. I don't know why that's coming in. It obviously is for somebody, but you know, that's a more literal message for somebody today, a more direct message. I don't usually do that in general readings, but that came through quite strongly, particularly if this dog has light fur, quite a lot of fur, light fur, whitish, greyish fur. Listen to your dog. Go in the other direction. That's for a male or female, I don't know who. So the second card is the Emperor. The Emperor himself. Now, he came up yesterday and he's come up again today, and he's come up on different days throughout this week and a half. So taking back your sovereignty. How long are you going to entrust your safety, the actions that you take, the actions that you don't take, to outside forces that by now, you know, come on, we can see that they're not doing things because they love us so much, the powers that be. And then in your individual lives, lots of people are realizing in relationships, either friendships, lovers, business partners, that, you know, I was warning weeks ago that you needed to get out of if they weren't right, if they weren't working. You know, it's now time's up. You know, you're feeling that, you know, you've built things on rocky foundations, however that may resonate with you. So it's time to take the energy of this Emperor card, because if you don't build your foundation now, if you don't take your stand now, and is thrown here, you know, is put on a nice solid square, you know, his feet are firmly planted on that foundation, on that square. He's sitting straight, he's got his knees aligned, he's got his square, he's firm in the way that he's seated. He's feet are firmly on the ground. His full foot is firmly on the ground. He's facing forward, looking directly in the way that he wants to look, in the direction that he wants to look in what he knows he needs to take notice of. And so there's this masculine energy today that is really heating up, that is really driving a lot of people to take action. And if you haven't already started taking action on building your firm foundations, building your sovereignty, remembering that you are a god, you are a goddess, you have that divinity within you, and if you haven't done that already, then it's really today the energy is really calling you upon to get off your arse and do it. Because if you don't do it, for a long time now, the powers that be, that, you know, it serves them well to come in and build those foundations for you. It serves them well to come in and build their knowledge that they want you to know for you. And you better believe it will be filtered for their purpose. So it's to remember exactly that, you know, we didn't come here to be controlled. We didn't come here to be manipulated, and we certainly didn't come here to be enslaved. We came here to have this experience, to uplift, to experience what it's like to lift something out of a low vibration into a high vibration, to marry up the human frequency, the human energy with the high vibration of the realm, the earth that we live on. So, you know, to build that firm foundation now, it's, you know, TikTok time is up. You need to get on that and start doing that to build your square, build your firm foundations to seat yourself upon, and look in the directions that you need to look at, and look at them through an emperor's eyes. Don't look at them through a slave's eyes. Look at them through an emperor's eyes and see what you see. See where you have been controlled, see where you have been manipulated, and do that within your family units, do that within your friendship units, and wherever you have not been able to keep your enjoy other people in their foundations, enjoy other people in their divinity, but yet you have not been able to, you can only enjoy theirs if you don't have yours. You have to really do things that you don't agree with, or, you know, not do things that you want to do. There's certain things there that, you know, your firm foundations, the people you've been around, if they're not right, you're not going to be able to maintain that square that you can stay seated upon, and agree to disagree, and agree and have all of the diversity of that, but still be within an accepting relationship, an accepting group, an accepted business partnership, friendship group that still accepts that if you do disagree, then that's okay, because you're on your foundation and they're on theirs, and you can meet somewhere in the middle to do the things that you need to do together. But, you know, you can still be you can still have your divinity and your sovereignty. And so to clarify him, we have the Three of Wands. Couldn't get more fiery and more masculine today, in that, you know, this is to take action, where the Two of Wands is planning, the embryonic, you know, ideal of what the direction that you want to go forward in. The Three of Wands is saying, right, okay, now we've seated ourselves upon our throne, we're on our foundational square. This is now we take action. This is the time where we don't wait for somebody else to take action, we take action. The Knight of Swords again popped up a few times. You know, this is quite an action-packed card here. You see, the Knight of Swords is taking no messing. Nobody's getting in front of those horses. I've been in front of a horse before that's reared up, and you don't want to stand in front of a horse that's rearing up. They are a force to be reckoned with. Yet he is in control of his chariot. He knows which way he's going, but he is slaying people with his truth. The swords, the Knight of Swords being intellect, wisdom, words, thoughts. So, you know, it might be that, you know, there's a time for eyes to see and ears to hear, and that is a constant. But at the same time, just because people disagree with your truths, there's certain truths out there now that, you know, a blind man on a galloping horse or two galloping horses should be able to see. If they can't see it, they're in denial because they don't want to accept the reality changing and the reality that we've been living in. But there are truths to be told here. So today will be a huge day on Sunday for truths coming out, both on the collective stage and in individual lives. Truths that might shock people, truths that, you know, get people out of the way, or truths that might, you know, make people want to get out of your way. It's an aggressive energy, and I don't mean aggressive in a bad way. I mean aggressive as in, right, okay, we've messed about with this too much now. You know, especially on the collective stage, the ridiculousness of all of these contradictory advices and rules that they're bringing out, and things that we, you know, the lies and the fake crisis that we're seeing, you know, the empty hospitals, GPs, you know, pretending that they're overrun when actually, you know, they've lessened their staff. There's things like that. There's big truths that need to come out, and that needs to be this chariot of fire, this chariot of, no, I will speak this. This is ridiculous now. Basically, I'm going to work. I'm going to open up my business, because if I don't open up my business now, for a lot of people is I'll be thinking this, if I don't open my business up now, then whatever this, you know, virus might be, it doesn't matter, because I won't be able to feed my family, and I'm the emperor. And so I'm the emperor. I'm not going to rely on other people taking action, especially other people that, you know, for a long time now, the powers that be, proving that they will not be there when I need them most. They will not act in my favour. They will not act in the collective's favour. They'll act in their own favour, i.e. the profit margins that many of the globalists have been making over the last 6 months, while all the other small businesses are going under. So there's a moment here in time where it's like this far and no further. We need to take action, because no matter how frightening it might be to get poorly, it matters not if I can't feed my family. If I can't, you know, maintain a business that has been in the family for generations, if I can't serve my community by doing what I've always done, and by working as I've always worked. And so this is a time, especially today, for small business owners to take action and say no, in numbers, because if it's in numbers, then, you know, there's no stopping it. Like this chariot of fire, of truth, of words, of wisdom, there's no stopping it. There's nothing getting in the way of those two horses rearing up, getting ready to race through the crowd. There's nothing going to get in the way, because they're too powerful. There's too much of them. So it's up to the collective today to say, okay, this nonsense has to stop. Well, whatever may come of us opening up business and going about life as we did before, you know, we'll deal with that. But right now we are getting pushed and prodded into a crisis point that actually we can't save ourselves from, that we would have to allow someone else to come in and be our emperor. So it is a time of showing that Leo lion, having that fortitude and strength and enlightenment to see that, okay, this far and no further. Letting your inner beast guide you. Being that firm emperor on that firm foundation, taking action with this 3 of Wands, going in the direction that you intend to go in, going towards the result that you would want to see. And, you know, whatever gets in your way with that, you're going to speak your truth and carry on going forward. You know, this Knight of Swords here isn't worried about his direction. He's not worried about his horses of truth bolting away from him. He's only holding the reins with one hand, but he's got that sort of wisdom in his other hand, and he's swaying it through the crowd to say, well, you know, I either do this for me and my family, or I'm going to be in a reality that I cannot control, in a reality that I cannot trust, that I cannot be in. Now, to clarify this Knight of Swords, we've got this Hierophant card, and that's kept coming up now and again too. And so this Hierophant card here, what came out for me here is obviously there's the ladders, but there's this 6-pointed star just here, and it's hidden. It's not hidden completely, but it's obscure. You can't see it straight away. The new decks, I hadn't even noticed it before now. So looking at the 6-pointed star, as in all of the ancient symbolism, you know, it's been turned around to mean something else. And so we're even frightened to use our symbolism, as in like the Nazi sign, you know, the meaning of peace and cycles, and all of a sudden people are frightened to use it, because you've got to, if you use it, you've got to explain, no, look at the ticks, they're the other way, it's not what you think it is. But people will want it, they're so triggered by it, by that indoctrination of the slight change and distortion of that symbolism now, that people are frightened to use it. And so, and that is where we see on this Hierophant card, again, a little bit obscure, not easy to see, but you see he's got a little, this dragon, this Hierophant, he's got a little dragon, this puppet on a string. Who is your puppeteer? The Hierophant is your inner grounds. The Hierophant is your inner warrior. The energy that you use to really look in the darkest corners of self and not be afraid to do so, to transmute the lessons that are within those darkest corners, to move past them by healing those wounds, by taking notice of them, observing them, reliving them in your mind's eye if you have to, but then being able to let go because you've cleaned out whatever wound is there, you've cleaned out whatever lessons and clutter were building up in those corners of self. But this card made me think, one, of the symbolism being distorted, and two, of this puppeteer type thing. Now, are you your own puppeteer? Are you knowing, are you your own emperor? Are you puppeteering your inner self because you know who made you? Did you make you? Or has much of this system and the people around you made you? Has the labels that these systems, has the limitations that these systems and people around you have given you, and even that you've given yourself, did they make you? Are you the Hierophant, or are you the puppet on the end of the strings? Who is the puppeteer? Who is directing your thoughts right now? Who is making you fearful right now? Why? You know, these are the questions that the Hierophant asks, to dig deeper and deeper and deeper to find out that, is this even a fear of mine? Or is this a fear that's been implanted within me? Is this even a direction that I want to go in, that resonates with me, that feeds me, that fires me up with that 3 of Wands, that gives me that feeling of being an emperor on my throne? Or actually, is it something that I've just seen on an advert too often, and now I think I want to go in that direction? I think I want that product. I think I want that person. So these are the direct questions that the Hierophant asks you to ask yourself, to go in within those corners, and each corner direct those questions and drill down on yourself. Go hard in the pain to find out, are you your own puppeteer? Are you the emperor? Do you have a hold of your own strings, or is something else pulling your string? In the UK, we'll say pulling your plonker. It's a bit rude, but you know, it is somebody else, you know, through gratification, through gifts, and in your individual life. Are you in partnership with someone, or is somebody else holding your emotional strings, holding you to past events in your life together, holding you to past guilts that they haven't moved on from, and therefore they won't let you move on from? All of these questions need to be answered so that you can take your throne as the god and goddess that you are, because otherwise your truth is going to be distorted. Instead of rallying through the crowds in your truth, and going and opening up your business, or going towards a partnership that feeds your soul, going towards an idea, an ideal, a new way of life that will give you true happiness, true balance and hope. Instead of that, if you're going towards, if somebody else is pulling your strings, then you're going to go careering through this crowd, because right now the energy of today is action. So you're going to be driven to take action no matter what, but what action are you taking and why? What is pulling your strings? Who's holding your inner puppet? Who is holding you? And so you need to be asking those, that's part of this action of today, to ask yourself these direct questions. It's important. It really is. This isn't an energy that you can just let slip by. If you do, you'll pay for it later down the line. And that's just as it is right now. You know, it's not that I'm not being a positive person. I'm actually trying to feed you. I'm actually trying to let you know that this is your window. This is the time to take action. And it all starts from within. But you're going to be driven one way or the other to take action, to move in a certain direction. That is either by outside forces that are rallying up and starting to build up that pressure of that volcano, or you can do it for yourself and you can puppeteer yourself and go in the direction that you are supposed to go in, that you are supposed to achieve, to be part of this collective, to raise this frequency, to protect our children, to live in a reality that is far more fair and compassionate and enjoyable. And so it is a big day, it's a heavy day. So going back to that star, what I mean by your puppet strings, where things can be, they can feel so normal because it's been around forever. But this star, this 6-pointed star, has been through the mill. You know, I read up an article here and I'm just going to quickly say a little bit about it. So it speaks about the link to the 6-pointed star regarding the trek from Egypt to Canaan, and then Solomon after a marriage to the Pharaoh's daughter, and then him going into magic and witchcraft. So then it's got this occult feeling to it, but then it goes further to say that it gets put into the hands of the Druids to use, and so they take it on board. And then it goes from there into Freemasonry usage in Mayor Amschel Bauer. I think that's how you pronounce it. My bearded one friend will probably slate me on that one if he hears it, because I've probably said it wrong. But in the 17th century, he changed his name to depict the red. He changed the star to be a red star, and changed his name, its name, sorry, to depict the 6-pointed star as the red shield. So then we go to say the Rothschild. People who put a lot of money into education, scientific documents, testing kits, maybe. Who's pulling your strings? Who's distorted your imagery? Who has distorted your perception of the reality? Who has stolen your symbolism? All these symbols, these sacred symbols that actually make a sound, all unique to themselves. There's more to symbolism than meets the eye. So when somebody or something takes sacred symbolism and distorts it, they're distorting the balance of nature. They're distorting the balance of how things should be. They're distorting the fact that you can't get out of that you can't get the most out of that vibration from that symbol if they've distorted your perception of it, and if they've made you frightened of it. Because then we go on to the Nazis and Hitler making it a yellow 6-pointed star and making the Jewish people wear it on a cuff on their arm. Where are we at now? I've kept saying that the energy is at that, you know, it feels like the Second World War looming. I keep getting feelings of my granddad and how it must have felt. And now, you know, with this mask wearing, you've got people, you know, policing people, just like the Nazis, just like the Jewish community against the Jewish community, policing each other. Where's your arm cuff? I keep hearing that over the last few days, but just change the word to mask. Why? Because we know that, you know, we're still touching goods, that there's so much advice from doctors to say the masks won't do anything. I see people wearing thin paper thin cloth masks thinking it's going to protect them. I see people wearing it down here and they're telling other people off for not wearing a mask. They haven't got the logic, they haven't got a rationale or reasoning behind it, but somebody's pulling their strings. Rothschild type of energy. Somebody's being the puppeteer. Somebody's making sure that the propaganda is put out there to hook into people who haven't done enough inner work to know that they're sovereign, to know that they can look at things with this Knight of Swords and have the wisdom to pick them apart until they get to the truth. To know that they can go within and question self and question self until they get to the root, to their root truth, to their foundational truth. So for a lot of people, we're seeing a lot of people getting triggered by this Knight of Swords energy, by this Gemini energy that spreads its truth, that stands its ground, that maintains its focus and moves forward. It doesn't stand still. Gemini isn't stagnant. And so we see that, with that truth, we're not afraid to have our sacred symbolism back, to take it back, to reclaim it and have it in a way that isn't distorted, that hasn't got a distorted perception of it. And so that we can really use it and get the vibration from it that it is meant to be able to give us. The knowledge that it is meant to be able to give us about the makeup of the very realm that we live in and the capabilities of ourselves within this realm, the connections to our souls. And so with us not reclaiming this, if you stay stagnant right now, especially today and for the rest of this week, if you're not taking those actions that you're led to take, if you stay stagnant, stagnant water gets smelly. Stagnant water causes illness. Stagnant water is not good for you. We are mostly made up of water. Right now we need to flow, we need to move, but we need to move in the directions that self is leading us into. And we need to be very discerning and very questionable of who might be pulling our strings. Where are we getting this impulse from to go in this direction? Or should we listen to our horse? Should we be enlightened enough to listen to our inner beast, our gut instincts? And so it's a very, very powerful day, very, very powerful week. We're in epic times, and it's for us to move it in the right direction. The Temperance card here on the bottom of the deck, another major arcana, asking for balance, self-control, the balance of the divine masculine, divine feminine within, to be able to transmute negative energies. So while we are seeing people who are being puppeteered, who are having their strings pulled by other people, especially, they've bought into the political systems that we've got, the banking systems that we've got, and it okay being the few to control the many in the way that they have been doing so, frightened of the truth. We're going to have people triggered around us. If you're in a higher frequency, it is our responsibility to stay balanced with that, and it is going to be difficult today and maybe tomorrow, especially with people, saying, where's your arm cuff, where's your mask, things like that. It's going to be hard to not lower our frequency in some cases and react in a way that really isn't going to help matters at all. With the Temperance card, we have the knowledge that even if people are casting hate towards us or negative energy towards us, we have the capabilities to, just like the Hermit, go within and cross those two streams, cross that negative stream in with our positive stream and transmute it in energy that will actually help us be fueled up to go further on our path, to go further forward, speaking our truth, or just knowing our truth and taking action on our truth. So the Temperance card reminds us of that you can be above things right now. You can choose to react. And you can choose to not react to certain lower frequency energies that might just be sent to attack you. On the bottom of the other deck, which deck are we using? We've got the Devil card. It's time to release those chains. This came up yesterday. It's time to release those chains that bind you. And to do that, you need the energy of the Hermit to find out exactly where those chains came from. Who built them up? Did you build them up? or did certain actions that you have taken build them up? You know, it's time, it's a little bit like the Christmas Carol movie, in that, you know, he has to go through, the different ghosts have to take him through the process of looking at his life to see where these great big heavy chains came from that he was building up, that were going to hold on to him and keep him limited in the afterlife. But, you know, it's not that those chains just worked in the afterlife. You know, he was in lower frequency, he was miserable in life. That those chains were already binding him in that movie. And so